Hi everyone. Have you ever come across a chess puzzle that gets more confusing the longer you think about it? This is exactly one of those puzzles. White has to checkmate black in 2 moves. White has a pawn that's just 1 step away from becoming a queen. But there's one big problem. Let's take a closer look at the position. White has only 5 pieces on the board. King on a4, rook on f6, bishop on h2, knight on b4, and most importantly, a pawn on b7 that's only 1 step away from promotion. Black has a king on a7 and a knight on e5. Do you think white can checkmate black in just 2 moves? Alright, let's look at the moves that first come to mind. The first move almost every player considers is capturing black's knight. The knight on e5 is completely unprotected, making it very tempting. But as soon as white captures the knight, black's king immediately takes the pawn on b7. At first, that might not seem like a big deal, but that single move completely destroys white's idea of delivering mate in 2 because there is no way to checkmate black on next move. So maybe giving check first is a better idea. For example, moving the bishop to g1 to force the king to move, but that doesn't work either. Black's king simply captures the pawn on b7, and the whole plan falls apart. Another move that comes to mind is knight to c6 and checks. At first glance, it looks promising, but the problem is exactly the same. Black's king captures the pawn on b7, and after that, no check white gives can lead to mate. Even rook to a6 and check doesn't improve the situation. Black captures the pawn once again, and this time, white doesn't even have a checking move on the second move. This is where the real secret of the puzzle becomes clear. Every move we've looked at so far has the same flaw. None of them protect the pawn on b7. And because that pawn is only 1 step away from promotion, the very first thing black does is eliminate it. That's why, no matter how attractive the attacking ideas seem, every one of them fails. Pause the video now, you have 10 seconds to think. What's the correct move? Time's up. The correct move is rook to f7. I know what you're thinking. Black can simply capture it with the knight, and that's exactly where the big surprise begins. If black captures the rook with the knight, the bishop's diagonal from h2 to b8 opens up because the knight is no longer on e5 blocking it. Then white simply plays pawn b8 and promote queen. Checkmate. Alright, if capturing the rook is a mistake, maybe black should move the knight somewhere else instead. The most natural square is d7. From there, it prevents the rook from protecting the b7 pawn, and also it controls b8 so the pawn can't promote. At first glance, that looks like a perfect defense, but it still fails. By moving the knight, black once again opens the bishop's diagonal. White promotes the pawn to a queen. Checkmate. The knight can't capture the newly promoted queen because it's pinned by rook, so let's step back after rook to f7, and what if black plays with king? If the king goes to b6, white plays bishop to g1 and checkmate. No way to escape. If the king goes to b8, white plays knight to c6 and checkmate again. Once again, the black knight is pinned by bishop and can't defend. Maybe that's why chess can still amaze us after hundreds of years. Everything started with one quiet move, a move that simply protected a single pawn, a move that looked completely ordinary at first glance, yet changed the entire position. And moments like these are what turn chess into an art. Now it's your turn. Tell me in the comments. Before seeing the solution, what was the very first move that came to your mind? If you enjoyed this puzzle and want to see more chess challenges like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so we can solve even more amazing puzzles together.